Hey guys, Brian at Frontier. I want to talk to you a little bit about cutting wheels today. There's a lot of different sizes of cutting wheels, different tools, different applications. I just wanted to go over with you our biggest moving cutting wheels and explain to you the differences. We have them from 4.5 inch all the way to 14 inch for your air grinders, angle grinders, and chop saw blades. So let's get into this. I'll show you some of the differences of each one of these. All right, guys, let's start. We'll kind of go small to large here. So these are your standard air die grinding cutoff wheels. A lot of guys use them. They're great for small stuff. You can have this. This is your 3 inch, which is probably your most standard air die grinder cutoff wheel. 3 inch, 3/8 arbor, 0.35 thickness. This is a great wheel. It doesn't take a ton of material, cuts through pretty quick, does a really nice job cutting when you're using the air die grinder. And then this is the same thing in a 4 inch. They do make some really thin 4 inch wheels that are the same thickness as these 0.35s. I don't recommend them just because when you get into a 4 inch at the RPM that an air angle die grinder puts out, if you get this wheel crossed up, it will blow up on you if you get that wheel too thin. So this one is just a little bit thicker than this 3 inch, but it's still plenty thin enough to get you a very nice cut, slice right through whatever you're trying to do. Again, 3/8 arbor. They do offer these in 1/4 inch arbor as well, but the most popular one is 3/8 arbor. So these are the two wheels that you're going to use on your air die grinders. The next thing we're going to get into is your 4.5s, which these are going to be the most popular cutoff wheels that you will use. Now, if you notice, there's a little difference in between these two wheels. This wheel has a bump up here, which is what they call depressed center. What that does is it actually, when you put this on a grinder, it actually gets the wheel away from the grinder a little bit. So that way it gives you a little bit more finger clearance. If there's a guard issue or a guard clearance, sometimes this wheel can get, just give you that little bit of offset that you need to give you a little bit more cutting clearance, I guess. And so this is what's called a depressed center. This is which is called a Type 27. This one is called a Type 1 flat in a cutoff wheel. So this is the most popular wheel, although we do sell a decent amount of the Type 27 or depressed center cutoff wheels. But these are our most popular. They're both 0.045 inch thickness. So again, these cut very nice, takes out minimal material, and you can cut through stuff very, very well. Does a nice job. These are by far our most popular cutting wheels for your 4.5 inch angle electric grinder. You can also, on that same grinder, you can put a 5 inch on there if you need a little bit more reach. And these will work on 90% of the 4.5 inch angle grinders out there with the guards on, but a lot of times even to run a 5 inch, you have to take the guard off, which most of us take the guards off anyway, although I don't recommend it. It's just a safety thing, but hey, we do what we do in the shop, so that's the way it works. Again, this is the same. It's 0.045 thickness, just a little bit bigger diameter than the 4.5s. Now, another popular wheel that we have is our 6 inch Type 1. Again, it's flat, and this one is an 0.45 thick again, which is a great wheel to give you a little bit more reach. So if you take the 4.5 and you lay it on there, you can see the extra cutting depth you get with that 6 inch. Now, to run this on a 4.5 inch angle grinder, you have to watch your fingers, because this thing you cannot run it with a guard, and it does get pretty close to the trigger. So you have to be very careful when you're running this wheel. However, it does give you about twice the actual cutting depth that the 4.5 usable cutting depth that the 4.5 does. So I have a lot of guys who really like these 6 inch wheels because you're actually getting twice the cutting depth for not twice the price. So this is a very popular wheel that we have. However, you have to get away from all the safety guidelines and use stuff that you could potentially harm yourself. So you just have to be pretty careful about how you use that. We do have a 7 inch cutoff wheel, which I absolutely do not recommend running this on a 4.5 inch angle grinder. I have seen some people do it, pretty spooky. But you can they actually have some 6 inch grinders that are out there that are just a little bit bigger than a 4.5. but they run better. You know, it's a little bit bigger body grinder, so it gets your hand a little bit farther away from the trigger point and gives you a little bit more clearance when you're trying to run this 7-inch wheel. And again, you know, you can tell the difference in that wheel. Again, you've got quite a bit more cutting depth there to work with. But a lot of guys, most of my customers run these either on a 6 or a 7-inch grinder, but we do have those. And that's pretty much, that covers your cutting wheels for your air die grinders and your 4.5-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch, 7-inch electric angle grinders on these 5 wheels right here. The next cutting wheel we're going to get into is your chop saw blade. So this is your 14-inch abrasive chop saw blade. This one's 7/64 thick, so it's not super thick. It's not going to take a ton of RPM and a ton of torque to cut through what you're cutting. This is a very good wheel. This is our #1 selling 14-inch chop saw blade. We sell tons of these things and everybody loves them. They do have bigger chop saw blades. We have these all the way up to 20-inch diameter. We have them thicknesses all the way up to 3/16 of an inch in thickness. But this is our #1 selling, and for most guys in their shops, you know, almost everybody has a 14-inch chop saw in their shop. So this is the most popular 14-inch chop saw blade that we have. And you know, so this is one of those, another must-have. If you have a chop saw, grab yourself a box of these. You're definitely going to use them and be glad that you did. You can get all this stuff. All of this stuff is on our website, frontiershopsupplies.com. Go on there, check it out. We have different pack sizes, different grades, different sizes. Whatever you guys need, we can get you handled from A to Z.